I think people have such a strong perception about Robusta. Either that's a negative perception, or they don't know why they dislike it, or they don't even know that there's even a Robusta or an Arabica bean. Arabica and Robusta are just two completely different beans that have unique qualities of their own. And I think when people try to compare one versus the other, it is literally comparing apples to oranges. All of these things just really present so much information and so much education that is required from a brand's perspective. And I think the idea is that we just really want to make Robusta not only accessible, but so approachable, and introduce something to the market where people get to try something and make and develop an opinion for themselves. Fat Miilk isn't here to convince anyone to pick one over the other, or that one is better than the other. We are trying to create space for a whole genre of coffee that wasn't appreciated and considered before. So we really want to debunk the way people perceive Vietnamese coffee when they come into our cafe. The number one thing people say is, "I'll have the Vietnamese coffee." And we're like, well, everything on our menu is Vietnamese coffee. There is such this linear perspective that I mentioned in a previous episode, what people perceive Vietnamese coffee to be. And that was the reason why it was imperative for me to put Robusta coffee on the menu in 10 different ways: an espresso, Americano, a latte, a cappuccino, a mocha, a drip dark, a drip light, a thin drip latte, a thin drip with condensed milk, and a robust black. I wanted this storefront experience to be an everyday experience. It's not something that you just enjoy once in a while. I recognize in order for us to be successful and to have Robusta coffee in your everyday life, we had to offer something for everyone. I wanted people to come into the space and not be intimidated by a bean that has not been accessible to the masses. And so in order to do that, I knew that approachability was key. Not only did I want people to come in and have that strong concentrated coffee that a thin drip yields, but I wanted people to mix it up and be able to come in one day and get a latte, and the next day get a thin drip. And I recognize that people are creatures of habit, but people like to have a variety of things that they go to every single time. We are the only coffee shop in Chicago who's offering Robusta beans through an espresso machine, through a drip, and through a tap. I think in the US, people have such a one-dimensional perspective about Robusta. I think a lot of people just believe it is so one-noted in flavor profile and what it does and what it offers and its identity. And it's so true when you see the lack of innovation in the coffee industry with Robusta in the US. And so there's a ton of biases about what Robusta can deliver, but that really comes from a very high-level expert opinion. And what I recognize is that consumers don't really know the difference, nor do they care. And so what I wanted to present is something that they've never had before, without explaining the true nooks and crannies of what the difference is between Arabica and Robusta and all these different varietals. I think it was important for me, for someone to come in here, know that we have great coffee, try it for the first time, and be like, wow, where has this been my entire life? Why haven't I had this before? And then we open the door to then educating consumers and being like, yeah, we're actually the only place that has Robusta through an espresso machine. And so it's just this really exciting space where not only are we integrating all of this innovation and all of these different ways that we can offer different things on the menu, but we're also inviting and introducing a conversation in a very biased coffee world that is now just coming on the brink of what Robusta can do. And consumers are loving it.